Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's Wednesday the 27th, and I thought I'd do a bit of a catch up on the garden and the koi and what I've done over the last couple of days. But the climbing plant that's on the conifers, because of the dry weather, it's really suffered, and I've had to drag a load out from there, so I ended up with a big hole. I'm sure it's going to fill in next year, but everything looks a bit dry. Been doing a bit of deadheading and cleaning up and one thing or another. But we keep having odd spot of rain. We did actually trim the edge up the other day, and I had a go at this little conifer. I think it's only supposed to grow to about 3 foot high, but I just tidied that up a bit. Regards the fish, these in the front pond seem to be happy enough. They coming on. I don't know whether you can see them very well, but they're all back in there, the Sri Lankans and the Japanese, and looks like they've left a bit of food. So mind you, it does feel a lot cooler today. I don't know whether it's down to air pressure or whatever, but some aren't back, they're leaving the food as well. In here I've put some of the little fry. Now I've only done that to keep this filter going. They're not doing very well. They're not eating a lot, but there's one thing I have learned, that from this fry thing, you need to keep the water temperature up. And I think obviously I've traumatised mine after going in the greenhouse and it getting up to nearly 40 degrees and things like that. So I don't think I've given them a chance to settle. So bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. And there's people having a worse week, that's for sure. Right, we'll just take you on to the back and show you what I've been doing in the garden and my new setup regards my main pond. Yeah, so I brought you into the greenhouse first, just to show you, I think, what's happening in here. As you can see, a lot of the stuff now is nearly finished. Normally I'd probably have another month left, but with the temperatures we had, you don't know when your season's going to end. Obviously there's a lot of tomatoes growing on there and the flowers are out still, so I'm going to leave that. But this little pot here, I put a seed in there and we've got some, well, a tomato growing. But what I did this year, because everything was a bit early, what I decided to do is, once I'd got them in the greenhouse, I put some seeds in the bottom of some of the tomato plants, and some of them have grown. See if I can get a decent picture, because basically that tomato there is finished. I chopped that up off the last week, I think. But in the bottom there, you can see another tomato growing. And it's got a flower on, so I do expect to get something off of these. And what I shall do, I shall take them out. There's one in there as well, there's one in there, and there's one back there. But most of their main plants is finished, but I thought I'd give it a go. It might extend the season a little bit if I repot them up, and might be able to carry on with them. And regards the cucumbers, they look like they'd finished. I cut all the yellow leaves off, fed them, and they started going green on end again. So as you can see here, the cucumbers have started coming again. Now I've never known it happen once your plant's as basically as bare as what that is now, but something's still encouraging them to grow, so let's give them a go. Even the little one in this corner, I know that's a weird looking cucumber, but might be a bit old. But even that's been trying to keep going, but that does get a lot more sun than rest, and really cucumbers like it a bit more shaded. But here's some of the tomatoes that I have repotted. Now, as I say, these were an experiment. These were how long's the season going to last when we're getting tomatoes so early. Would some more grow and give me a bit more season? But these seem to be doing all right. I'm going to repot them again. I'm going to put them in a bigger pot when I clear some of these out, and see if we can keep the season going. But that's about that for in there. I've also got a couple of tomatoes in here. Now, I'll show you where they came from in a few minutes, but the strawberries are going mad. And I've started cutting the leaves off of the dead leaves off these courgettes. This sort of thing, which going yellow and got mould on it. I've been cutting them off. I left them on so I can just show you what leaves I've been cutting off, to try and encourage them to flower again. Same as everything, if you trim it off, it might come again, it might not. This beetroot I put in a few weeks ago is flying, but obviously with this sort of thing on here, this is leaf miner. It's a moth that lays its eggs on your leaves, burrows into your leaves. You should really take them off. But the grub goes down into the ground near your beetroot. Doesn't harm your beetroot really, but it does look a pain. But I do normally cut it off. I've cut some off this morning. Been taking some radishes out. I don't know as you can see. There's a few in there. That section didn't do very well really, but it could have been a bit of oat seed. And I've also been taking some more foliage off of there, but as you can see, there's hundreds of tomatoes on. And we have had some off of this, so hopefully, again, taking some leaves off, encouraging the fruit to grow and ripen, we should have some more tomatoes in, well, maybe for another month. I'd like to think so. And obviously with them growing in the greenhouse, we might be able to keep going again. But you can see the weight of the tomatoes here have actually broke that stem. So I'm going to have to tie that up. I would have done it earlier, but obviously I wouldn't have been able to show you what had happened with it then. The beans, I've been encouraged with the beans this year, because to say there's only about 5 plants in there, we have been blanching the beans because we've had that many. I know a lot of people don't eat a lot of beans, but if you can make 5 or 6 packs up, it can get you through till Christmas. Tomatoes, the potatoes there and the courgette, they've suffered because they've not had the light, as I said in the previous video. I'm really impressed with these tomatoes because they're everywhere. Down here, absolutely everywhere on here. I just hope, well, I've put some feed in yesterday, so hopefully they'll keep going. This beetroot's on way to finishing, but you can see what damage that leaf miner can do. So I'll take a few on that. The raspberries are starting to come. So what I shall do, I shall pop a bit of feed in the ground. Do always mulch the ground with leaf mould or compost earlier in the year to give them a bit of a feed. Let's just pop round here. I'll show you the fish. And what I've done, I've tried to get the pond a little bit more balanced. It really looked overcrowded. I'll probably get some grief over this, but I've thinned them down. I thought, why I've got this swimming pool up, I'd utilise it a little bit. I have got somebody coming round at some point, because he went to the Newark show and he's decided he wants to start with koi. I don't know a lot about him. I don't know whether he's already got some koi or not, but he's asked if he knows my son, and he's asked if he could have some fish, because obviously my son's been talking to him and told him that I've got plenty, and try and explain to him that he might have to put heat in his pond to grow any of the fry on. Obviously I can't give him any of these, but if you look around you'll see the ghost carp and the Oliver, my twisted fish with the deformed tail, is missing. I haven't culled them, and I won't cull them, but what I have done, I've utilised this this pond. None of the fish are getting eaten by the other fish. I don't know what it is, I don't know why it is, but there's the two fish I've moved into here. I've put some more water in. I might even put some more in, bring it up a bit more, but at the moment, with the weather as it is, they'll be happy enough here. But I thought it might encourage the other fish to eat, having them in as well, and it'll give them some exercise if they're swimming away from them every 5 minutes. But they've been in there 2 days now, so but they've not touched any of these fish. There's plenty in there. I'm sure there's enough air in there. I keep looking and thinking there isn't enough air in, but I'm sure there is. There's 4 air balls, and obviously that's returning from an eye into the pond, and I'm sure there's enough air in there. But it's surprising how big them 2 fish look now they're in here. I know this 60 odd centimetre, and the ghost carp is really broad, but I do think that by doing that, giving these a bit more space, I'm going to feed them on a bit. But if you can see down that side, you can see a little white koi swimming away, some of the fry, and I actually took a shot of this corner the other day, and when I stopped the filming, I'd actually got 20 little fry in here. So I don't know why they're not eating them. They're eating everything else. They'll eat as I said on my video the other day, I think it was Monday when I did one, they're eating everything else. But as I say, I'm just looking for a better balance in this pond. And you know I'm not keen on the 2 fish I've moved. I watched a few videos over the past couple of days. Neil from Stoke Koi Adventures, he was treating his fish, he's got issues. Andy from Derby Koi, he's got putting a new drum filter in. Did make a comment, I hope you don't get too upset about it. It is supposed to be a joke. But yeah, I think these are looking well. It just to me, I feel like I'm going to have to leave them 2 out, find somewhere else for them to go. But we'll give it a month or 2 and see how these grow on, and we'll make a decision, as we will, about that, whether we finish it or not. Hopefully we will. So for the people who I missed it Newark show, or met and didn't mention on my last video, I know I didn't mention Sharpie. I met him, and I met Daz with his wife and Don't know whether it is his mum or his wife's mum, but had a bit of a laugh with them. Nice to see Daz again. And did see Lee Hadfield, but there were always a lot of people around him, so didn't go and interrupt, because I suppose a lot of people know him really well, and I think they're probably congratulating him on putting that trophy up for sale, to win. Regards the armed forces, not just the army, the armed forces, and can say that I really liked it. Not seen one in matte black before, but yeah. So again, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to everybody who got a prize at the Newark show. And I'm going to have to pack in now, because I think it's just starting to rain again. So hope that's helped, the little catch up, and I'll see you again probably next week. Cheers, bye.